Hey, AP seminar. We're going to go ahead and get started with today's lesson so that I can lead you through what you're going to work on while I'm out. Okay, so should be sharing my screen now. I'm going to start on Schoology to show you guys where we're going to find materials for today's practice. So everything that you'll need for today's lesson and really everything that's going to carry us through the rest of this semester is going to be in this very first folder. So final assessment prep materials. The APA citations practice and key, and then the in-text citation and references corrections and key is what we worked on Friday and Monday. And then today you guys are going to be I'll walk you through these end of course exam prep slides. That's going to walk you through part A, question 1, 2, and 3. And then the 2019 AP seminar end of course exam is the practice exam that we're going to be practicing for the rest of this week, or practicing with in preparation for your final assessment that you'll take during the final exam period. And then today you'll end the class period by taking this Google form. You're going to do this with your group. I only need one submission per team, and it's the last thing that you'll submit today. So I'll walk you through all of that now. If you, after this video, need to refer back to any of the slides that we talked through, they're going to be in this link right here. And then part of the video today will also lead you through opening up the article that you'll be annotating. You're going to move this PDF over to Notability. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at these slides and go to the beginning. Okay. So as we talk about the end of course exam for AP seminar, remember on the final class period, you are not taking a final for this class. You're taking a final assessment that goes into the coursework. So it does not go into that 20% category. Okay. Remember, for the end of course exam, which sometimes is shortened to the EOC, part A is focused on informing the reader. You are analyzing what already exists, and you are informing the reader about your analysis of what already exists. The part B, which you are not doing during your final exam period, is where you create your own argument. Okay, so for part A, we're practicing those skills of analyzing what already exists. Okay, so let's review the overall task directions for the end of course exam part A. Today, after we go through the 3 questions, we're going to spend our time today just focused on question 1. So part A, question 1. When I'm back tomorrow, we'll review that, and then we'll move on to strategizing for question 2 and 3. All right, so part A, you will have the full 90 minutes to work through question 1, 2, and 3, and then that APA citation multiple choice section. During the final exam, or during the end of course exam in May, the College Board recommends that you spend 30 minutes on this task, but you will have the full 90 minutes. This is a practice, so you can take your time with it this time around. So the directions of the exam will say, you're going to read the passage below. This is when they're going to give you a two-sided article, so 1-page article, and then respond to the following 3 questions. The first question is identify the author's argument, main idea, or thesis. I want to clarify, you are not identifying 3 different things. That all means the same thing. What is their reason for writing this article? The second question is to explain the author's line of reasoning by identifying the claims used to build the argument and the connection between those claims. So typically there are 3 claims, and you'll identify what they are and discuss how they are connected. So how does the author build this argument to support the overall idea that you identified in question 1? The third question is to evaluate the effectiveness of the evidence that the author uses to support the claims being made in the argument. So this is where for each claim being made, you'll identify a direct piece of evidence used in the article, and you'll evaluate, does that actually prove the claim it was intended to prove? And is the evidence credible? Did the author give us a credibility statement for us to be able to trust that information? For today, we are just going to focus on identifying the author's argument, main idea, or thesis, the first question. Okay. This is the rubric for those 3 skills. Understand and analyze the argument is that the response accurately identifies the author's argument, main idea, or thesis. So can you read the article and accurately identify what the article is about, what the author's main idea is, their reason for writing the article? The second row is question 2. The response provides a thorough explanation of the author's line of reasoning. So what those 3, typically it's 3 claims are, and clearly explaining the connections among them. So in the next couple of days, when we get to strategizing about question 2, we'll talk about and review those signal words, how ideas are connected with words that mean and, or, but, etc. And then the third row is evaluating the sources and evidence. So these are all skills that we have seen all throughout your rubrics in AP Seminar. You're applying it a little differently here. So the high scoring for this row is the response evaluates the relevance and credibility of the evidence and thoroughly evaluates how well the evidence is used to support the author's argument. So you're kind of doing 2 tasks in that row, and we'll get there as we discuss those throughout this week. All right, so let's focus on our approach when you open this document, which I'll have you open in Notability in a few minutes here. When you're reading the Part A source, your first task is to annotate it, to read it and to make sense of it, to mark it up. You are annotating for 2 things. You are looking first for the claims. You're trying to make sense of the structure of this argument. You want to think like a writer. So the whole time you're reading, you're asking yourself, okay, what's their purpose for writing this? Is there an argument here? Are they trying to simply inform me? Are they trying to persuade me? What is their purpose for writing? As you're asking yourself that, you're also looking for kind of 3 different chunks of information in this article. You're looking for 3 different transitions, if you will, 3 different ideas. Okay. So you're going to annotate for those claims. Those would be 3 claims that then kind of support their overall message. A claim is an assertion of something that is true. Like we've said, there are typically 3 in the articles that the College Board has published in the past. Then we want you to identify and annotate evidence. So maybe you do this in a different color, maybe of a symbol, whatever system works for you. You are looking for evidence that proves each of the claims that are being mentioned, proves that they are true. If you're unsure of what the claims are, because it can feel tricky sometimes, a trick is to find the evidence first and then ask yourself, what is this proving? That's a claim. Okay, so if we look at this graphic here, starting with the evidence, we know that evidence is used to support a claim. You guys just finished writing your IRRs, so you've been the writer. You know that evidence is purposeful. Evidence proves something. So whatever that evidence is proving, that's a claim. Typically, there are 3 of them. Then what we do is we look at those 3 claims and we look at the summation of those claims. We look at how they function together and we ask ourselves, what is the overall message here? Because those 3 claims are going to be used to support an overall message, to further explain an overall idea or thesis that the author set out to write this article about. Okay, so let's think about one of the AP exams that you have practiced in the past. This was in September, so it was a long time ago, but I think this will jog your memory a little bit. After you annotate the article, so when you guys looked at the one about the way that it's called Your Brain on Fiction, I think was the article. So the way that our brain responds when we read fiction pieces. You read the article, you annotated the article, and we identified these 3 claims. Narratives activate many parts of the brain. Claim 2, the brain, it seems, does not make much of a distinction between reading about experience and encountering it in real life. And then the 3rd claim that article made was reading fiction exercises our real life social skills. So after annotating the article, those 3 claims build the author's overall message of Annie Murphy Paul's argument is that a person's real world social interaction can be improved by the impact reading fiction has on the brain. So identifying these claims is part of the question 2 task. But in order to do the question 1 task, what's the overall message? We kind of have to think of what are the 3 claims and what are they building towards, or what are they supporting? So working backwards can really help. So that's why we suggest that you annotate for the claims and the evidence first, and that's going to help you to identify what is their overall message. Okay, so that's an example from the 2018 exam. So when you're identifying the author's overall argument, main idea, or thesis, this is going to be 1 sentence, and it's going to be in your own words. So you're not going to just rewrite something that already exists in the article, but you are analyzing what already exists there in the article, and you're putting it in your own words. This should encapsulate all of those main claims, which is why we have you annotate for those claims first. Should also use the author's name in the sentence. So if we look back at this example, Annie Murphy Paul's argument is that, for this one, the author's last name for the 2019 exam that you'll be reading in a minute, I believe the last name is Levine. I can't remember their first name, if it's male or female right now, but you would say, so-and-so Levine's argument is whatever you and your group come up with today. Okay. Rubric row is here again for you to identify the high scoring assessment for that category, right? So this one, Annie Murphy Paul's argument is that a person's real world social interaction can be improved by the impact reading fiction has on the brain. This is a broad sentence. It's put into the analyzer or the reader's own words. It uses the author's use the author's name, and encapsulates all 3 of the claims we talked about before. So this was a high score from the College Board. You'll notice that it doesn't have a 3-pronged, the author's argument is that this, and this. You could do that, but they are more so looking for a more sophisticated, overarching message that encapsulates all 3 of the claims that are mentioned in the article. Okay, so what you're going to do today, in just a minute, you're going to open the PDF on Schoology. I'll show you where it is in a minute, but it's called 2019 EOC Exam Prompt and Sources. This is a PDF. It is exactly what your exam would look like in May. So that's why we're practicing with these materials. And you're going to move that PDF over into Notability. You're going to read the Part A source. It is only 1 article. I'm going to show you where it is. The PDF also has the Part B 4 articles. We don't need that at all for the rest of this semester, so ignore it. And the source is titled Why the Voting Age Should Be 17. So while you're reading today, you're going to annotate for the claims, an assertion of something that is true, and then the evidence that support that proves that the assertion is true. So again, that trick is, if you're not sure what the claims are, find the evidence first and then ask yourself, what is this proving? Okay, so we're going to take 10 minutes for this. I'm not in the classroom with you, so if you want to set yourself this nice 10-minute snowy timer, feel free. What you're going to do is go back to Schoology. You'll open that PDF, move it into Notability, and then you're answering question 1 only today. So you're going to read the article individually. You're going to annotate it individually. Then as a group, you are going to decide as a group an answer to this first question. What is the author's argument / main idea / thesis? Why did they write this? What are they trying to communicate? So to do that individually, you're going to annotate for what are the 3 claims that Levine makes. And then as a group, you're going to write 1 sentence in your own words that encapsulates those 3 claims. You're going to submit your 1 sentence answer by the end of class today. So you and your group members need to be individually focused on reading and annotating for 10 minutes, then come back together to discuss. And then you'll fill out a 1-question Google form, and then you're done for the day. Okay, so on Schoology, the end of course slides that I just went over are here. The PDF that you're going to move over to Notability will look like this. So again, this is what it'll look like from the College Board. This is the 2019 exam. So students who sat in your shoes, took this exam. Come on. All right, so you are looking at the Part A section. Okay, the 3 questions are there. We are only worried about question 1 today. So why the voting age should be 17, Peter Levine. This was published in Politico magazine. If you're interested, you can look that up on the day of the exam. Remember, you won't have access to a computer. And it was published in 2015. Okay, and then you'll go on and you will read this article. You'll stop at the end of page 3, because that's the end of, well, I guess it goes on to 1 sentence onto page 4, and then you'll stop there. Okay, so you're annotating this article, you're looking for those 3 claims, you're identifying evidence, and then as a group, what you will do when you finish that, if you go back into your folder, the last link is the 2019 end of course exam question 1 Google form. You are doing this as a table. I only need 1 response per table. So you're going to submit your answer to question 1 for the 2019 AP seminar exam. This is going to be a formative. It's due at the end of the hour today. I am going to mark this as turned in or missing in the grade book to track whether or not you're using your class time today in prepping for your end of the semester assessment. Okay, so group members, first and last names, tell me who you're working with. What class period do I have you? And then you are just writing your 1 sentence response as a team. Identify the author's argument, main idea, thesis of the article, why the voting age should be 17 by Peter Levine. Okay, so remember, you can start this out by saying, Peter Levine's argument is that blah, 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 or however you choose to phrase it. Okay. Other than that, you guys, if you have any questions, I'll be close to my email today. So if you need anything, reach out. And I will be back tomorrow. We'll talk about question 2 and 3 of the AP seminar exam. All right. Have a great day, guys.